We've got Middle Tennessee State and Charlotte. The 49ers, 2.5-point home favorites, 56.5 the total here in this one. Middle Tennessee State losing to UTSA and Virginia Tech on the road in back-to-back weeks. Really no shame in either loss. Two obviously pretty good teams. Virginia Tech, obviously is a team that I wasn't high on coming into the year, but still for Middle Tennessee to have to play them and a very good Texas San Antonio team back-to-back games, difficult assignment. And now they're going to take on Charlotte, who, when you look at Charlotte, they've played Duke, they've played, the Gardner-Webb after that, and then they played Georgia State last week, and a Georgia State team that had really struggled, and Charlotte just can't get anything going offensively. I don't know what happened to Chris Reynolds in that game. I actually kind of like him as the Charlotte quarterback, but 13 of 28, 158 yards through the air, not good. They couldn't run the football against Georgia State, which was stunning to me because Georgia State's been just gashed defensively. So Charlotte, just their offense being that bad in the game, 9 points against Georgia State. It was shocking to see that because Georgia State just had a terrible start to the year on the defensive side of the football. And then sure enough, they're basically having their way against Charlotte. This is a team that gave up 43 points to Army, 59 to North Carolina. Granted, tough opponents, good teams, but Charlotte just could not get anything going whatsoever offensively against Georgia State in that game. So that worries me a little bit here for Charlotte in this game against Middle Tennessee State. I think if you're going to use, Charlotte, when you look at them, and their schedule so far, it's not been great. The best team they've played is Duke, and that's not saying much because Duke is, not as good as they've been obviously in the past. Whereas Middle Tennessee, they're coming off the UTSA, Virginia Tech games, and they've got a solid quarterback. I'm not saying he's great, but he's a guy that's been around. He played at a Power 5 school and started many games there. Talking about Bailey Hawkman, the NC State transfer. I think when I look at this game and I see Charlotte after that kind of performance last week favored, I've got to scratch my head and say, it's hard not to like Middle Tennessee, at least at this current number, with them getting plus 2.5 here in this game. Again, we'll look to see how things go later in the week. And I know Middle Tennessee's off 2 straight losses, but this could end up being a step down in class here a little bit for Middle Tennessee facing the Charlotte team, because to get outgained by 161 yards and outgained on the ground by 180 yards against a Georgia State team that basically got mauled on the defensive end of the field in the first 2 games, that worries me for Charlotte, especially as favorites, having to win this game and win it by at least a field goal. So early week lean, haven't bet it yet, but I'm waiting for a 3 because this went from 2 to 2.5. If it hits 3, I'll probably absolutely at that point be a buyer on the Blue Raiders here. Conor Mack, what do you think early in the week here? MTSU Charlotte.
Yeah, I'd only be on Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, Valerie, I'm half vampire, so watch out. Yeah, I'd only be on Middle Tennessee State. I take the points with them or just take a money line. I think Chase Cunningham will do well. Charlotte didn't do anything to me. I wasn't, didn't like them at all. This is a game I want to dig into more. These are 2 teams I don't like betting on. But if I had to right now, I'd take Middle Tennessee State and I'd take a money line.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's a team I had high hopes for coming into the year, but that was an alarm. Now, was it a one-off? Because I still think this team's got the chance to be capable, but I didn't like what I saw from them offensively against Georgia State. And let's give Middle Tennessee credit. They had to play Virginia Tech. They had to play a very good Texas San Antonio team. Those are 2 very good football teams, especially UTSA. Could be a little bit of a step down here for the Blue Raiders. Grant, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I think it could be a little bit of a step down for Middle Tennessee coming in. It is a road game. As I look at that Charlotte Georgia State game, they lost 20-9 on their defense. They only gave up 20 points. They forced 2 turnovers and they got a safety. So now they are playing Georgia State, right? So again, we got to look at all those things. But the defense wasn't that bad. I mean, they did give up 281 yards on the ground, so it wasn't good. But they only gave up 20 points. kind of like Connor said, I don't really like betting on these two teams. I don't know too much about them, so this will be a watch for me as I listen to you guys and from what I've looked at on the early side of things. Middle Tennessee State looks good, but it might move up to that 3 as we saw a little bit of line movement. So for me, stay away. I'll watch this one. Maybe get in on it later in the week. We'll see.
Yeah. By the way, there's a couple of people that that always send me every week on the Sunday night, Monday morning. They send me their power ratings, and these are people that really know college football. Both of them had basically in this game Middle Tennessee the slight favorite, and yet we're seeing Charlotte here 2.5 points. So that's why I'm also. It's not just that Charlotte looked awful in the game against a very, I thought, weak Georgia State team last week. But I think they also see that, hey, that now they're also an underdog here, and Middle Tennessee's played some pretty tough teams the last 2 weeks. So I haven't bet it yet, but certainly if this hits 3, I will be getting in on Middle Tennessee in this one.